Welcome once again to our few minutes together on the Parsha. You know, we spoke last week that the laws of the Torah are given in Yisro and Mispatim in terms of Sefer Shmos. Mispatim has 53, equal to the number Gan. It's a veritable garden of commandments, the overwhelming majority having to do with the laws Bein Adam L'Chavero, as the name of the Sedra itself implies. Mishpatim, justices, things that we could figure out on our own that are just between man and man. The pasuk says, "Ve'ela ha-mishpatim asher tasim lifneihem," and these are the mishpatim that you should place before them. Rashi paraphrases the Gemara in Gittin, in which it says, "Tasim lifneihem," you should place it before them. V'lo lifnei ovdei kochavim, and not in front of non-Jews who worship idols. Va'afilu yadata b'din echad, and even if you know about a particular law, she'heim donen oso kedine Yisrael, that they will adjudicate the law exactly as the laws of the Jewish people, al tivi'ehu ba'arka'u shelahem, you are not permitted to bring it to their courts. This particular law that the Jewish people are not supposed to bring their monetary disputes to courts of secular law is encoded in the Rambam, in Hilchos Sanhedrin, in Perek Chavav Halacha Zayin, and in Choshen Mishpat, in Siman Chavav Sif Aleph. And the law in Choshen Mishpat is extremely clear. It says, "Va'afilu nisratzu beis ba'alei dinim," even if the two parties are willing to go to the court system of the secular courts, the din is that it's aser ladun b'fneihem. It is forbidden to judge before them. The halacha goes so far as to say that somebody who does that not only makes a chilul Hashem, but is in the category of a mecharef u'megadef, somebody who actually brings blasphemy on Hashem's Torah. That's a pretty strong statement about someone who goes to court. Of course, in case there is no way for the Jewish courts to handle the situation, as we have today sometimes, one may get permission from the Beis Din, to go to the secular courts. Rav Moshe Feinstein was once asked, and I heard this from someone who said it over in the name of Rav Moshe's Talmud, Rav Nissen Alpert Zal, that Rav Moshe wanted to explain. He said, why is it that if the law is going to be the same exact law, and the outcome is going to be the same exact outcome, why is it that one should not go to the secular courts? After all, the judgment's going to be the same. This one stole, he has to pay it back. What's the difference? So Rav Moshe explained, the difference is that when you hear the halacha from the Beis Din, and it's based on the writings of the Torah, there is not just the physical remuneration which is given back, but there's a spiritual dimension which we don't have if we go to the regular courts. When one comes before a Beis Din and they bring their case to the great minds of the rabbis of the Torah, there's not only the actual psak din, but we gain spiritually. When we do a mitzvah ben Adam l'chavero that we would normally do anyway, even if the Torah didn't demand it of us, nevertheless, by doing it, we gain spiritually. We grow in Torah, and we become closer to our source, the Torah, and to the divinity of the Torah. By participating in the spiritual dimension of the laws, we raise ourselves, and we become Am Yisrael, who receive the Torah on Har Sinai. Maybe that's why, at the very beginning of the Sedra, it tells us that just as all the lofty expressions of I am Hashem your God, thou shalt not have any other gods before me, and remember the Shabbos to keep it holy, honor thy father and mother, don't covet others, And then we come to the simple, mundane laws of dealing with the tort laws of caring for other people's property, being a shomer, and so on. These laws are written right next to Har Sinai. And as Rashi says, Ma elu mi Sinai, av elu mi Sinai. They're both from Sinai. And the spiritual uplift that comes from observing the Shabbos, that comes from honoring parents, that comes from being careful about another person's property, and that comes from being a shomer on someone else's property, from being careful about your interpersonal relationships. In the Torah, they both are spiritually uplifting and bring the Jewish people closer to HaKadosh Borough Hu. That's why in this week's Edja, it says, Naaseh v'nishma. We are the people who do and will hear. The more we do, the more we understand. It's not so much that we understand first and then do. It's when we do it, it brings us a deeper understanding. When we keep the civil laws between man and man, we come to a deeper appreciation of the spirituality of the Torah. I want to wish you all a wonderful Good Shabbos and a wonderful upcoming Rosh Chodesh.